Well, she's not up here in Coffs Harbour, TK. She's down there in the studio in Sydney. Good morning, Jaimee.
Just rubbing it in, Loz, why don't you?
Well, hang on. No, you went to Darwin last weekend without us.
Well, I did, but I wasn't there for the cup, so I think I also drew the short straw in that situation too. But
what about Jamie's walking around saying, "I'm
what
going
have I
to Darwin.
done? What have I done?
I've gone, Jaimee, the cup's not for a couple of weeks."
Yep, that was a big error on my behalf. And here it looks like you guys are. It looks fantastic where you are. You've certainly got a nicer outlook than what I do currently.
Yeah, well, you're in our cupboard back there in French's Forest as well. So what are the burning issues?
All right, guys, let's start with the NRL. And as we know, Titans have now finally announced Justin Holbrook as the new coach. First of all, I just want to get your thoughts on him as the new coach, but also the process and how he got there.
Yeah, no, I think he'll do a fine job. It's a big ask going to the Gold Coast Titans. We all know that they've struggled in the past. The only coach that's had any real success there was John Cartwright, and that was early on in the existence of the Gold Coast Titans. But he's been over there in England. I like the way that he's been able to coach his side. He's been an assistant coach, then coached his own side over there in England. I think he'll do a terrific job. Whether they'll make the finals regularly or not, I'm unsure of, but I thought they'd be in a lot better position this year, and I thought they'd be close to making the finals this year. So it's been a big disappointment, but I think he can certainly improve them.
But Jaimee, you're right, the process about finding Justin Holbrook was a little bit of a strange one. They said, we were going to have a global search, and this was the last stand, and this is do or die. This could be the end of the club if we don't make the right decision. Well, in the end, they've gone with a rookie coach. I mean, I know he's coached in the UK Super League, but he's still a rookie coach, and I think in the end, our man, Kevy Walters, sort of played it well, because I think he's sick of maybe being told he's the next in line, but that cab never seems to arrive. It's like going out on a Friday night and you're trying to get home. You're at the cab rank and it just never comes, and you end up walking home. Well, at the moment that's like Kevy, but on this occasion I think he played it well.
Does that serve as maybe a warning for Kevy? Like, was that his last chance of coaching in the NRL? Because he has missed out now on Broncos twice, West Tigers, and now the Titans.
No, I don't think so. I think that if he continues to have success with Queensland, now we know that he started his coaching career there, winning 2 series in a row, and the last 2 years haven't been successful. I think if he can drag Queensland back on top next year, then he'll certainly be a highly sought-after contender for a coaching position.
Well, boys, after what we saw last weekend with Manly beating Melbourne at full strength in Melbourne, are Manly genuine title contenders, or are they just going to be a side that provides nuisance value throughout the finals?
Oh, for me, it's nuisance value. I don't think they can win the comp.
I thought if they could finish in 4th position, but I don't think they will, Jaimee. I reckon if they could finish in 4th, I thought they could win the comp if they fired, particularly on the back of Turbo Tom and Daly Cherry Evans, by the way, who just gets bigger at winning those big moments in big games. But I think they're going to be finishing 5th, and if you're not in the top 4, you can't win.
Well, let's go over to the world of swimming, guys, and it seems like this swimming saga with Shayna Jack and Swimming Australia, it's turned into a PR nightmare and it's not going away anytime soon. Should heads roll over the handling of this situation by Swimming Australia if they want to regain the trust of the Australian public? And I'm mainly pointing this towards the CEO, Lee Russell, or the Swimming Australia president, John Bertrand, who we are yet to hear from.
No, I don't think heads should roll. I think the policy needs to change. I think that's the key indicator there. Looking back, yes, they could have handled things differently, but they were doing things by the letter of the law, and that was their policy in place at that particular moment in time. I know plenty of people are outraged and they want to see heads roll about everything these days. If someone makes a mistake, they want to see people lose their positions. Yes, it's not a good look for Australia with this happening, and yes, I can understand the frustration, but I don't believe that someone should lose their position over it. I think the policy needs to change.
TK, you don't think that it feels as though that Swimming Australia threw Shayna under the bus at all?
Well, I think it was virtually at her request. Depends. We haven't heard from Shayna Jack herself yet, so that makes it really hard. Would she want her personal and her public life out there for everybody to comment on social media? I'm not so sure. It all goes back to the athlete. They followed the letter of the law. They're administrators, so they're boring by desire. We're the media, so we want to pry and we want to know everything about a particular topic. So it was up to Shayna Jack, but we've got to know one thing. You can never keep a secret. And this doesn't pass the pub test with me, that Shayna Jack was a member of that squad over there about to swim at the world titles. all of a sudden she's gone home for personal reasons and no one on the swimming squad knew anything about it, please, leave me out of it.
Yeah, but for me, though, it's all about, yes, they could have released her name, but the policy that they have in place doesn't allow them to do that. Yeah. So they're following the letter of the law. So
I get on the front foot. I always think it's better to get on the front. Shayna, let's hold a press conference.
And
let's say that you've tested positive. I'm waiting for my B sample.
Yeah, but that's not in their policy. So then all of a sudden, if you break policy, what happens then? You can go to court and you can be sued. That's what would happen.
I'd have to look.
But if they change the policy to say when someone goes positive for a drug test, we can get on the front foot and announce their name, go for it. Yeah. But I can understand what they were doing.
If you got the permission,
I don't think it was a cover.
I'm sure
it's
you could do it.
You can't tell me they were trying to cover it up because this wouldn't have happened.
It just got handled badly.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely wasn't a cover up.
We're looking forward to the cricket.
Well, yeah, we certainly are. And I just think it's interesting, guys, that Mitchell Starc looks set to be axed from the first test. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on whether you think Justin Langer has made the right decision leading into the Ashes series.
I'd pick Mitchell Starc. I think he offers something different. He's a left armour, can move the ball, and he bowls with speed. I know speed's not the be-all and end-all, but I think he just provides something different to our attack.
Yeah, his problem would be controlling that swing he'd get with that Duke's ball that they use. That in-swinging Yorker delivered from his height, it's one of the best balls in world cricket. I'd play him. Jaimee, I think they've got a concern about, after playing all the games and taking all the wickets in the World Cup, I think they've got a concern about his fitness and his workload and how many overs he could bowl. And if they played Mitchell Starc, I think you got that hint from Brad Haddon this morning. They'd actually have to play Mitchell Marsh as a fourth seamer there to help with the bowling load. And I think they want to put a batsman in at number 6 and not Mitchell Marsh, which is probably a good thing. So maybe that's the case with Mitch Starc.
Well, boys, we're running out of time, so we'll just leave on this. You did mention Brad Haddon earlier on the show. We'll just show a grab here of how he thinks Bancroft, Smith and Warner will handle the return.
They've been good. There's a big. We've done a lot of work to reintegrate those three, and you've seen the success of Davey and Steve during the World Cup, and young Bancroft. He's been over here playing. He's played some really good cricket at Durham. He actually got the opportunity to captain there, and he was a standout batter in the club trial. So they've been good. They're just excited to be back playing cricket. They've done their time. Everything's behind them now, and I think they're pretty steeled and ready to go for this campaign, those three.
There's Brad Haddon, and good on you, Jaimee. We thank you with those burning issues. And he joked with us. He said, no, I just put him in a room and they just punched on.
Yeah, great sense of humour from Brad. But I think, they've done a lot of work with those guys and the team in particular. Look, once they go out there to bat and on the field together, they will get on. They know they've got a job there to do for Australia, and they'll be looking forward to getting out there in their first test since being suspended together and getting runs on the board for Australia.
There they go. The burning issues with Jaimee Rogers, 8:30.